If you were to ask me what is the most messed up game I ever played, then I'd probably say Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius by THQ. Nah, I'm kidding, it's actually the coffin of Andy and Lele. If you have seen these characters on the internet or watched my previous video, then you already knew where they're from. But if you haven't, then they're from the game called The Coffin of Andy and Lele. It's basically a novel game where you can make your own decisions to shape your story. Now here's what you need to know before continuing to watch. This is Andrew, also known as Andy, and this is Ashley, she's also known as Lele. They're siblings, and yes, I know that there is a lot of corn of them together, but that's besides the point. I'm here to talk about why I think their relationship with each other is better than you would think. But to do that, we have to understand their individual characters. I want to start off with Andrew for no apparent reason at all. He's 22 years old and he is very timid, which often allows others to easily dominate and manipulate him. He also suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder because when he was younger he happened to accidentally end a young girl's life by trapping her in a box, leaving her to suffocate. As a side note, some people call this girl Nina, but I am convinced that's not what her name is. Ashley calls her Nina, but Nina is Spanish for girl. I could be wrong, but feel free to correct me in the comments. Andrew is the oldest child, so his mother, Renee, bestows him with the responsibility of looking after his younger sister very frequently. Andrew is also a critical thinker, which makes him more like his mother. He resembles more to her than his father, and we can tell that because of the similar eye colors and the way of thinking. He is also deemed to be very attractive because just about every girl in the game is attracted to him other than his own mother. Yes, even his own sister, but I'll get to that later. Speaking of sister, it's time to get to the part why most of you are here. This is Ashley. She's 20 years old and she is very bold, confident, emotional, manipulative, immoral, selfish, and weaponizes blackmail. She also suffers from bipolar disorder from what I can tell. She does what she does without facing any guilt whatsoever just for the fun of it. She is the one who emotionally manipulated Andrew to trap the girl in the box, knowing full well she would not be okay. She did this by exploiting Andrew's responsibility of looking after her. He was a child himself at that time, so he did not know how to take care of another child. She is the primary reason why Julia broke up with Andrew in the first place, and Ashley instigated it so she could feel more secure in the relationship she had with Andrew, so she could manipulate him more. So there's a lot to unpack here. Andrew and Ashley individually are both really messed up characters, one being a doormat and the other being straight up crazy. They both grew up together neglected by both of their parents. This is mostly because their mother, Renee, was only 15 when she gave birth to Andrew and 17 when she gave birth to Ashley. She clearly wasn't mature enough to take care of two children, let alone one. So she made Andrew take care of Ashley more than she herself did. This is why Ashley sees Andrew as a parent figure as well as an older sibling. Andrew used to take care of his little sister and not the other way around, until the whole incident with the girl in the box happened. There could be a few reasons why Ashley would do this. Most people think that this is because of jealousy, but it's not just that. Don't forget that Ashley blackmailed Andrew over the whole situation. She told him that he could never leave her side by threatening to tell the officials and with jail time. Ashley could just play as the younger sibling in court and get a few weeks in juvie at best, blaming her brother since he was the one with responsibility. Since Ashley was neglected by her parents so much, she grew an attachment towards Andrew and just wanted to make sure that he never left her, and that in doing so, there would be consequences. Consequences her parents never had. But in gaining leverage over her brother as a collateral, she also gained his attachment, making Andrew dependent on Ashley emotionally since he quite literally does not have anyone else in his life anymore. And also because he ended up trauma bonding with her. This is common because he could not share his past actions to anyone except her since nobody even knew. So he seeks consolation through her. But regardless of their twisted relationship, it works out pretty well. See, Andrew just is not confident enough to move on with his life, and Ashley just is not sane enough to live her own. In their own messed up way, they somehow balance each other out. Let me explain. Ashley acts on impulse and Andrew cleans up her actions every single time. This highlights their relationship as child and parent. Since Ashley always depends on Andrew for everything, she cannot leave him to move on with her life. And since Andrew is emotionally dependent and blackmailed by her, he cannot leave her either. So the relationship is an endless cycle of messes occurring and cleaning it. They both keep each other company in an odd way, but that can be a good thing because for once try to think of a person as messed up as Ashley with an actual healthy functioning human being. There is no doubt that she would end up in a cell and the healthy man in a psychiatric ward. But Andrew is different. He is capable of having a relationship and sustaining it, as we have seen with Julia, and his only biggest problem is his sister. We know this because in Act 2, before selling your parents' soul, Andrew is given two choices: to either try and side with his parents or to side with Ashley. Now you'd think that the choices you make change the way you perceive the game, and it's true, it changes the perception, but not the facts itself. If Andrew chooses his parents, then he is perceived to be helpless because of the dirt Ashley has on Andrew. And if he chooses to defend Ashley, then he is perceived to have trauma bonded with her. And it's not one way or the other, it's both, only a small change of perception. Ashley also sees herself as a useless person because in Act 2, each of the colored dolls represent characters in the game. The pink one is Ashley, and so we can assume that she feels less useless when she's with Andrew because she feels needed. Also notice how Ashley always sits on a stool when she's with the whole family, but always in a chair when she's with Andrew. This could depict that she feels like she belongs with Andrew alone and not with anyone else. Now I know that most people who have played this game or have analyzed it just don't know how to explain the incest part and just make it seem as though it's a very pervy way of playing the game. But I have to disagree. See, when you're in the second act making the story, you have two choices. You can either take the incest route or the normal one. Before you call me an incest supporter, we need to understand that the demon that gives insight shows the future, which we are yet to know. Moreover, let's not forget that these two have a special parasite in them that appears to be very deadly. And no one across the whole platform of YouTube has wondered why these two have not died yet. Maybe the incest was a cure? Moreover, both of them get only one insight depending on the choice you make, but they sacrifice two souls, so it's possible that these choices aren't a route but a sequence, meaning both of these might happen. And aside from the practical reasons, let's talk about the emotional ones. Ashley has never had any relationships whatsoever as far as we know, not even with her parents. Andrew has been quarantined for 3 months with Ashley, the person he took care of as his own child. When we look at marriage or relationships, the man takes care of the girl similar to taking care of a child, providing love, financial support, and emotional support. The girl provides love, attraction, and comfort. None of these two know how to be siblings because they were never taught. They were neglected by their parents and even abandoned. Quarantined, these two only had each other and acted as they saw fit. Sleeping in the same bed together as long as nothing weird happens can be deemed normal since Andrew has panic attacks. Most of the flirtatious remarks are made by Ashley because she is the one who never had a relationship. What I am trying to say is that although it is messed up, they are beyond help, so if it messes with our mind, it is normal for them. It is quite similar to how normal it is for Jeffrey Dahmer to want to live and eat his victims, but for us, it is beyond reasoning. I recently played the game and I highly recommend you check out this video as well. Subscribe.